story of Dismantle starts with Shanice. So 4 years ago, 12-year-old Shanice was one of the first people to participate in our bike recycling program. She was the best mechanic out of the whole group. And in 10 weeks, she managed to recycle and rebuild 2 bicycles. She chose to donate the second bike to a woman in need. That woman was Maria. She was 36 years old and recovering from drug addiction. So Maria now uses that bike to ride to and from her first job since defeating drug addiction. It was at this point that we suddenly realised bicycles were way more powerful than we thought. We thought this program was about recycling bikes, but very quickly we worked out it's about what happens when you put a bicycle in between 2 people and get them to work on it together for 10 weeks. The bicycle becomes a bridge. It allows a connection where a connection wouldn't normally take place.
So my journey with Dismantle starts at the same time as Shanice. I was working in the Department of Child Protection in residential care, so really looking after the young people that have nothing else left. Everything has been lost until it's the drip tray service of the Department of Child Protection. I was at a point, this is 3 years ago, where I became extremely frustrated with the role that I was in at my workplace at the Department of Child Protection. I wanted to have some amazing relationships and connection and work with young people, but by the time they were at this space, they were so disconnected from youth workers that were trying to change their lives. It just wasn't effective. That was my connection to Dismantle. I saw the power, the potential of the bike to engage with young people and have that connection different to a youth worker, have an even more powerful effect on what youth workers are trying to do. 25% of young people in Australia are not enrolled in full-time education or employment. There's a gap here that youth service providers are trying to fill, at 25%, but there's always a cohort that they just can't connect with, just can't engage with, and get involved in their services. They have fantastic services, but if they can't get heads through the door, they can't achieve their outcomes. That's where we come in. We're using bicycles as a hook to engage young people that are otherwise missing out, slipping through the cracks. We're connecting them back to our partners, youth service providers that are providing amazing services, who are then getting young people back on track in work, study, or school. Now with our program, it's pretty simple. It's a really intense bike mechanic course. It's 10 weeks, it's 10 participants, it's 2 mentors, and it's 15 bikes. Each young person recycles a bike, donates it to charity, to earn their second, to keep for themselves, and they can customise it, and obviously they'll use it once you put it in your hands and want to use your bike. Our program, out of the young people that are disengaged from youth service providers, has a 70% success rate of engaging those young people, getting them back on track to employment and education. And that's 6 months down the track, we have a 70% success rate of the young people that we work with. Our program is 10 weeks, but we don't start and stop at 10 weeks. We work with youth service providers to provide an ongoing pathway, and we've just started to create our own at the same time.
So 12 months ago, we had an independent impact evaluation done of our early stage project. And one of the major recommendations that came out of that study was that it would be really, really great if we could work out a way to extend the engagement period with young people. 10 weeks is extremely effective, but if we could stretch that period out, it would have a greater outcome. So enter the Bike Doctor. This is our new social enterprise initiative. Basically, it's a cargo bike that turns up to workplaces across Perth CBD. It opens out like a Kia on steroids and turns into a portable bike workshop. So we're charging service to do bike servicing to corporate businesses all over Perth CBD. We're putting that money back into our operational costs to help with our overheads. But most importantly, we're now able to provide the young people who go with it through our program with opportunities for long-term work experience and hands-on training. So some of the kids who come through who really, really connect well with bike mechanics now have an opportunity for an extended engagement period, and we lengthen and strengthen the outcomes through the Bike Doctor. Now all of this started with Shanice and 9 other young people. It started with one group of 10 kids. That was 4 years ago, and next year we're on track to put 150 young people through our program. We know from experience that all it takes is one program to kickstart a chain reaction of events that leads to high numbers within a very short period of time. All it takes is for local partners to see a project in action, experience the outcomes, and then off we go, and we're rolling after that. So Pat mentioned that 25% of young people aged 14 to 24 are not engaged with employment or education pathways. That gets worse the further you get out of Perth City. If you go into a regional community, it is 35%, and if you're going into a remote community, 50% of the young people are not engaged in an employment or training pathway. That's huge. We want to take our program to Geraldton, which has been requesting our services for almost 2 years now. There's a consortium of partner organisations up there that really want us there. They've come up with some money, but that the extended cost of getting out of Perth CBD is really hard for us. So our target tonight, what we really love your help with, is enabling us to get to Geraldton, take this program to where it's most needed, and start a regional series of bike rescue projects. Thank you.